Some tragedies arrive as surprises. Others arrive with paperwork. In 1985, the city of Philadelphia dropped a military-grade bomb on a residential neighborhood. Not during a war, not overseas, not by accident. And afterward, they let the fire burn. Not because they could not stop it, but because they chose not to. Welcome to the Footnote Files, where history does not vanish. It gets filed under Too Uncomfortable. Urban Renewal by Airstrike. The 1985 MOVE bombing. I'm Sarah A. Morris. MOVE was a Black liberation and environmental group founded in the early 1970s by John Africa. They rejected modern industrial society. They lived communally in West Philadelphia. They practiced the philosophy of natural living and opposed all forms of animal and human exploitation. They were loud. They were confrontational. They were unapologetic in their opposition to police brutality. But to the authorities, MOVE was not a group of citizens with a message. They were seen as a direct threat. By 1985, the tension between the group and the city of Philadelphia had reached a boiling point. On the morning of May 13, 1985, hundreds of police officers surrounded MOVE's row house on Osage Avenue. The city had secured warrants for several members. They attempted evictions that quickly turned into a siege. They fired over 10,000 rounds of ammunition. They fired tear gas. They cut off all water to the building. Hours passed. The people inside refused to come out. The stalemate was total, and the city was losing patience. Inside City Hall, a new plan was being finalized, a decision that would change Philadelphia forever. A Pennsylvania State Police helicopter was called in. It carried a satchel bomb made of Tovex and C4. At 5:27 p.m., the bomb was dropped. It wasn't meant to destroy the house. Officials claimed it was just to disable a bunker. The bomb ignited a fire immediately, a fire that quickly took hold of the roof and the fuel stored there. The fire department was on the scene. They had the equipment. They could have put it out in minutes. But the order came down from the police commissioner and the mayor. Do not intervene. Let it burn. The fire was left to spread from the MOVE house to the neighboring homes. Brick by brick, the block was consumed. Officials later claimed they hoped the fire would flush the residents out into the arms of the waiting police. Instead, the residents were trapped between the flames and the police gunfire in the alleyway. By the time the fire was extinguished, 61 homes had been reduced to ash. An entire community was gone. 11 people died in the fire, 6 adults and 5 children. They were never given a chance to escape. In the months of investigations that followed, the city defended its actions as a necessary tactical decision. A special commission later called the bombing unconscionable and criminal negligence. Yet, no city official was ever charged with a crime. No one went to prison for the deaths or the destruction. Accountability was traded for government regret, a language that costs the state nothing. Ramona Africa was the only adult to survive the house. She served 7 years in prison for conspiracy. The people who ordered the bombing, who chose to let the fire burn, kept their jobs and their freedom. The community of Osage Avenue was eventually rebuilt, but the scars on the city's soul remained open. Why isn't this story a central part of our history? Because it doesn't fit the myth of American progress. It doesn't feature a foreign enemy or a clear moral victory. It features a city government bombing its own people. It serves as a reminder that state violence isn't always a spontaneous outburst. Often, it's a memo. It's a signature. It's the cold application of power against those deemed inconvenient to the social order. History doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme. And the rhymes of the MOVE bombing are still being heard today. The MOVE bombing was not an accident of history. It was a calculated decision by those in power. And the most disturbing part of the footnote? It didn't happen that long ago. Many involved are still with us. Thank you for joining us in the archives. Keep looking at the footnotes. I'm Sarah A. Morris. Next time on the Footnote Files, we explore the Ludlow Massacre and the price of labor in the early 20th century. The names change. The machinery of power doesn't. See you in the archives.